Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most hyped and maybe one of the most misunderstood technologies out there, blockchain. We're going to peel back all those layers of jargon and really see how this thing works, from one tiny transaction all the way up to that unbreakable chain.
Okay, so let's just jump right into the big question. Imagine you need to agree on something really important with millions of complete strangers online, people you've never met, people you have no reason to trust. Let's say you all need to agree on who owns what, without a bank, without a government, without any central referee. How on earth do you do that? And that is the fundamental problem that blockchain was invented to solve. It's a clever system that lets everyone agree on a single, shared source of truth, a public ledger really, without needing to trust any single person or company. It's trust built from math, not middlemen. All right, so to understand this massive chain, we've got to start small. We need to look at its most basic building block, a single transaction. Everything, and I mean everything, in the blockchain world begins right here. Now, right away, we see there are two totally different ways of thinking about this. Bitcoin's model is a lot like digital cash. You know how if you have a $10 bill and you buy a $7 coffee, you get $3 back in change? Bitcoin works kind of like that with these things called unspent outputs. Ethereum, on the other hand, is way more like your bank account. There's just a balance and it goes up or it goes down. Simple as that. So every single transaction goes on this little journey. First, you create it and you sign it with your private key. That's your unique, unforgeable digital signature. Then boom, it gets broadcast out to thousands of computers all over the world. It lands in this digital waiting room called the mempool, just hanging out with all the other recent transactions, until a miner scoops it up and cements it into history by adding it to a new block. So how exactly does a transaction get picked up and put into a block? Well, this isn't some quiet, orderly process. Nope, it's a flat-out, massive global competition. And this competition is called proof of work. The key idea here is that creating a new block is intentionally made incredibly difficult and energy-intensive. Think of it like a global lottery. Finding the winning ticket is absurdly hard, but once somebody finds it and holds it up, everyone else can see in a split second that, yep, that's the real winner. That difficulty is precisely what makes the whole network secure. So, what is this puzzle they're all trying to solve? Well, they're all trying to find a special number, a hash, which is like a unique digital fingerprint for data that just happens to start with a whole bunch of zeros. It's a high-tech guessing game, plain and simple. And how do they guess? They take all the transaction data, add one tiny little number called a nonce, and then create a hash. Does it start with enough zeros? Nope. Okay, change the nonce. Try again. Nope. Change it again. And they do this billions, sometimes trillions of times every single second all across the planet until one lucky miner somewhere finally stumbles upon the winning combination. You can imagine this insane competition has led to a technological arms race. I mean, back in 2009, you could actually mine Bitcoin with the processor in your laptop. Then people figured out that gaming graphics cards were way faster. Now the game is dominated by these things called ASICs, total monsters of machines built for one single purpose, guessing that number as fast as humanly possible. And of course, all that computing power has led to a huge increase in energy use, sparking a massive global debate about the environmental cost. Okay, so a miner wins the race. They've earned the right to forge the next link. So let's crack open one of these blocks and see what's inside. And more importantly, how this structure creates that legendary, unbreakable chain. Inside the block's header, you've got all this important info. When it was made, the solution to the puzzle, a fingerprint of all the transactions inside. But the one piece you absolutely have to focus on, the real magic ingredient, is the previous block hash. That hash is the unique digital fingerprint of the block that came right before it. By embedding that fingerprint into the new block, you create an unbreakable link. It's like cryptographic superglue. It's what connects block 100 to block 99, which is connected to block 98, and so on, all the way back to the very first block ever created. And this really gets to the heart of blockchain security. Think about it. If you wanted to go back and change an old transaction, you would change that old block's fingerprint. That would instantly break the chain. To fix it, you'd have to resolve the puzzle for that block, and for the next one, and the one after that, all while the rest of the world is still building on top of the real chain. It's not just hard, it's pretty much impossible. So now we get how the whole mechanism works, from the tiny transaction to the unbreakable chain. But all that security and clever design comes with a cost. And that brings us to the biggest strategic headache in the entire blockchain world. It's called the blockchain trilemma, and it's simple. You have these three amazing properties you want: security, speed, and decentralization. The problem is you can pick any two you want, but you can't have all three. To get that amazing security and decentralization, you need thousands of computers all agreeing on everything, and that, by its very nature, is slow. And wow, this chart just lays it all out there, doesn't it? When you see Bitcoin doing around 7 transactions per second compared to Visa's 65,000, it's a huge difference. But remember, this isn't a bug, it's a feature. Bitcoin and Ethereum are slow on purpose. That's the price they pay for being so incredibly secure and decentralized. Visa is lightning fast because it's just one company in charge. And this is really the key takeaway for everything happening in crypto today. Every new project, every new innovation you hear about, things like layer 2s or sharding, they are all just different attempts to solve this puzzle. They're trying to find a clever way to scale up and get faster without giving up on the security and decentralization that made this whole thing revolutionary in the first place. And that really is the central, multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? Is the goal to find some perfect, magical solution that finally cracks the trilemma and gives us all three? Or is the future a world with many different blockchains, each making different compromises for different purposes? The answer to that is going to define what our digital world looks like for decades to come.